start with number 5.
Number 5, I don't know what you feel, but I actually have Dalvin Cook from the Minnesota Vikings.
I'm okay with that.
I know he was 10th in rushing yards at 1,100, but he was 4th in touchdowns with 13.
He's interesting. He's very interesting because he's underrated in my opinion. I definitely would say he's underrated.
I do think he was very good. He was actually one of the few running backs that did a little bit of both. He does have 500 receiving yards for the year. Crazy enough, I know he's a running back, but he averages 9.8 yards of reception, which is just ridiculous.
Well, that's today's league. That's the way we're transitioning. My number 5 was actually Nick Chubb. I think he was, if anything, he's going to come out overrated throughout all this, in my opinion, because I don't think he is. I think at 5s it's a good spot for him because I think that's just where his talent caps off.
I have Nick Chubb at number 4.
Yeah.
I threw him ahead of Dalvin Cook.
I definitely have him above Cook, but Cook's not even in my top 5 just because of the fact that he started off the season. I think he ripped off like 300+ yard games.
He did.
He was absolutely going ape wall, and then just had a bad second half of the season between injuries and just kind of falling off a little bit. I wanted someone like Nick Chubb was there the whole season. You don't get 1,400, almost 1,500 rushing yards without being there the whole season. So you had Nick Chubb at 4, Cook at 5.
Yep.
Yeah, Chubb's my 5. I definitely like him there. Now, my 4 is a little weird. I'm curious whether or not he's in your top 5, and if so, how high you have him. My number 4 was actually Saquon.
Saquon is actually not in my top 5.
See, with injuries, it kind of made his season so quiet. But if you put his numbers next to Dalvin Cook, and he only played 13 games, let me remind you, they're just the same. And he didn't get any praise for it. Don't get me wrong, Giants sucked and they lost and all that. But, for only playing 13 games on a bum ankle for most of the season, 4.6 yards a carry, over 1,000 yards still, 6 rushing touchdowns, didn't lose a fumble. It's hard for me to look at those, like the fact that he's still able to put those numbers and the fact that he is just a freak of nature physically. I had to put him in there. I'm a kiss up. I'm a kiss up for the freak athletes.
Guess we're on to number 3. Not too much debate in my category on this one. It's Ezekiel Elliott, Dallas Cowboys. He did run for 1,357 yards, 12 touchdowns. He was Ezekiel Elliott, you know what I mean? Like, he is Zeke the Freak. He did fumble the ball a little bit more than I liked. He does have 3 fumbles on the year. Wasn't a huge fan of that. Caught 54 passes for 420 yards. Just a basic Zeke year, a little lower than normal, but the way Zeke is in and out, you know what I mean? He's going to get you yards. He's going to average about 4.5 to 5 yards a carry, and he's just going to be your workhorse. Run that ball down the middle and let him go.
Yeah, Zeke is right where I have him too, at 3. He's just, I want to put him higher so bad because of the fact that out of this entire list, he's the only guy that can say I've done it for 3+ years at this level. Like, he's just been that guy who's come in, and since he's come in, it's just been absolute dominance. But, man, running backs are really getting good. I feel like everyone's starting to have that guy. And especially the top 2, I think I know which way you went for what order, but it's getting so good. It's tough. Like, the fact that Zeke's 3rd on our list just shows how good the running backs are.
Well,
he led the league 2 out of his first 3 years in rushing yards?
And the year he didn't, he led in yards per game because he was suspended for like 6 games or whatever it was. He led in yards per game.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is. So Number 2, I'll go first because I want to see your reaction to it. I actually put McCaffrey at 2.
How do you put McCaffrey at 2?
So you did go with 1 McCaffrey, right? And Henry at 2.
Of course I put McCaffrey at 1. He
now
is
this is
the
tough.
best running back.
No. See, that's the thing though. For me, I have to put it into perspective of because it's such a big thing in football today. You cannot have football without fantasy football. And the thing is, the reason that the all-purpose back is becoming such a heavy reliant thing is I feel like fantasy football has grown so much, and the most popular thing in fantasy football is that all-purpose back. And that it's getting praised so much. And as good as McCaffrey was, his stats are absolutely mind-blowing. Madden numbers. 1387 rushing yards, 4.8 yards a carry, 15 rushing touchdowns. Absolutely the best receiving running back, 116 catches, over 1,000 yards. But they sucked. His impact had nothing. Derrick Henry didn't suck. His team won games because of him. There was no debate about who won the game. It was him. Not to mention that, what was McCaffrey? He averaged 85 rushing yards a game. Don't get me wrong, obviously he made up for it on the receiving end. But my guy was the only guy over 100 yards. The next closest guy was 10 yards less. 16 rushing touchdowns, over 1,500 rushing yards. Every 2 rushes, he basically averages a first down himself. You don't even include the Patriots game, the playoffs, where he absolutely won 2 games for that team. There's no debate about it who won those games for him. He absolutely took the life out of the Patriots and took the absolute life out of the Ravens and video game Lamar. That whole fan base where everyone thought it was going to be Chiefs, Ravens, winner goes to the Super Bowl, and King Henry went by and absolutely put a hurting on them.
Listen, I understand that logic. It's hard to argue with, wins. Derrick Henry's team is winning. They did have a very good defense, and I can't believe I'm about to say this. They have a better quarterback, even though it is Ryan Tannehill. They do have a better quarterback. Not now. Teddy Bridgewater's a better quarterback now. But last year.
We can't pretend that McCaffrey didn't get to play with Newton at least a little bit.
He did a little bit. He did. But he didn't get Cam Newton. He got Cam Newton. You know what I mean? Like, he got hurt Cam. Shoulder hurt, ankle hurt, knee hurt.
Can you agree with me that hurt Cam's better than healthy Tannehill?
I don't know. Hurt Cam lost like 11 straight. Like,
that wasn't hurt Cam's fault. That was the team sucked.
Well, we put the blame on the quarterback. That's what we do. When they win, they get all the praise. When they lose, they get all the blame. That's how it always is.
See, but that's the thing. There's the breaker right there, and that's why I had to put Henry at 1. Because I don't think for once that we put the blame on the quarterback. When it came to the Titans, when they lost, you didn't blame the quarterback. You said, well, Henry didn't show up.
Well, I looked at it like this, because I honestly had a debate with myself. Like, Henry's a beast. But I said, if I'm going to start my team, and I was going running back first for some strange reason, not quarterback first, what would be more useful to me? The guy that I can put on kick returns, punt returns, receiver, slot, running back, or the running back? I'm going to take the guy who can do it all. Because he can catch the ball. He is another receiver on the field at all times. He can do the wheel route. He can run the streak. He can run the slant. He can do the post. He can do anything you need him to. He's great. And if you put him on a winning team, any team, the team gets better when he gets there. You know what I'm saying? And I don't believe the Panthers get better if we switched Christian McCaffrey for Derrick Henry. I believe that system is built for Christian McCaffrey to be a star. And I believe he could do that anywhere because he's so versatile in anything he does.
He's Christian McCaffrey doing all that he's doing, like you said, throwing him in this and that and this and that. What is McCaffrey, 5'10"? At
5'11".
5'11". That's being nice. And I know he's a pretty muscular guy, but he doesn't weigh that. How much do you say he weighs?
205.
That's it?
That's what ESPN says. Who knows what he really weighs?
So he's probably got like 3% body fat or something because he is an absolute – he's sculpted. But Derrick Henry, you're throwing this guy around at 205, 5'11". My guy's what, 6'4", 250? I know my guy, if I sign him to a 5-year big deal and I sign your guy to a 5-year big deal, I know my guy's making it through the 5 years. There's a very good chance. there's not a very good chance your guy's making it through the 5 years doing all that. No matter how much of a freak in nature you are, there's one thing football shows. History does repeat itself, and if you overwork yourself, you're not going to make it.
See, that's why I don't think your guy will last. They're just going to run him up the middle and keep getting hit by big people. And I know he's a big guy. He's, what is he, like 240, 250? Like, he's huge.
He's not feeling it. That's the thing. I don't think he's feeling it. I think the other team is feeling it. There hasn't been that many running backs that are actually his size and his speed.
Like, yeah, but you got to realize
those big guys play
he was hit at least 300 times last year.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
But McCaffrey was hit almost 400 times last year.
You're right.
So your guy's taking 100 more hits with almost 50 less pounds of muscle on him.
Yeah, but most of his hits are getting pushed out of bounds, little slant routes and all that stupid stuff.
And another thing with him, you're saying little slant routes. Don't get me wrong, he's very explosive, and he does make big plays. But a lot of his offense where he gets those 116 catches are a lot of checkdowns. And if that's the offense you built for McCaffrey, you're never going to win. You cannot win with a check down offense to your running back.
8.7 reception yards a check down. I think any team will take that.
How many times do you see players blow up and repeat the same year the next year? What does the NFL always do? They always figure out and adapt. They're going to adapt to the check down routes. They're going to adapt to the wheel routes. He's still going to probably get damn near 1,000 yards receiving because I still don't see any quarterback in there that's going to solve their problem right now. Bridgewater's good, but Bridgewater's another check down guy.
Well, I mean, last year he did 1,867. Yeah. So he's improved from the year before.
It's just, it's hard. It's hard for me to put McCaffrey over a guy who literally just won 2 National Football League playoff games by literally carrying that offense past the finish line. 34 and 30 carries. That's 74 carries in 2 playoff games. There's no debate he carried that team.
Oh, no, 34, we're not arguing that.
And the best part, you see 34 carries, you think he had an iffy game because he carried the ball so much. He had 182 yards, 5.4 yards rushing. And then you say, oh, maybe he's tired. No, but then he goes to the Ravens, the team that has all the hype. The most hype I've seen since Mahomes, broke out. And then since then, it hasn't been matched in a long time. And he comes in 30 carries for 195 yards rushing. He literally improved with all that workload on him. He got a better game and a passing touchdown. Not forget to add that one in, even though that one, I won't hold passing touchdowns against McCaffrey. The guy already practically does it all. It's hard to.
Listen, you could put him either way, but if I was starting a football team, I'm taking Christian McCaffrey. I'm taking him.
I agree.
10 out of 10 times.
1 or 2, you could flip either way. I'm not going to be necessarily upset. But if I'm building a team, I'm going to go with the bigger guy and the guy that's already proven to me that he can win a playoff game. Like, when's the last time you've truly seen a running back win a playoff game?
I don't know.
It's been a while. Very long time because it's a quarterback
but
and
they also had
league.
They also had a great defense that was working really well.
It was a good defense
and they had a terrible Patriots offense that was just god awful
against an elite defense. That was
they did. I'm not
going
to. I
didn't
say anything.
Not great.
I didn't say anything about the Patriots defense. I didn't say nothing about that.
That's what I'm saying though. That's a great defense. That was up in the category for all time ranks. And don't get me wrong, weak opponents, but doesn't matter. In NFL, you can't hold that against people apparently. So if you're gonna look,
I still think the 49ers had the best defense last year.
5.4 yards a carry against the New England Patriots defense. That defense was outstanding. He just literally made it look like it was nothing. 49ers defense was absolutely insane. Don't even get me started with that. They were insane, but then it just shows how insane Patty Mahomes actually is because